Thank you for joining me on the show today. This is the Now Talks, a collection of inspiring personal stories and leadership lessons from some of the world's most iconic leaders. It is the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. My name is Dr. Tina Allton, and I'm your host for today and the coming weeks. Hello and welcome again. Today we're going to talk about change. I don't know where you're listening to me from today or when, maybe you're listening next week, a month, a year from now. I don't know what part of the world you're going to be, in when you're listening to this, but it is no secret that there is a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of uncertainties in almost every nation you can possibly think about. Why? Because COVID hit almost every nation in the world. Every economy was hit. There is, inflation. If you want to, for those that are into economics, there's inflation, in almost every economy, cost of living crisis. There is, sickness. People are getting sick. Like there is so many things that are happening in our world right now that is really testing. It's testing leadership. It's testing our skills, our capabilities, our capacity, our talent, and our strengths, and I think our character as well as leaders. So something has to change. Somebody has to do something. How often have you heard or come across somebody's like, hey, we've got to wait for the government to do something, right? Or maybe is it healthcare system? Something has to change. Maybe it's education or business or my boss or, my family or, my church, whatever it is that we know that things need to change. Society needs to change. Our families need to change. Our nations need to change. But often we're waiting for somebody to come and change that. But I want to challenge us as leaders. We are called to be the change that we want to see. As leaders, we have that innate ability, and it's part of our primary calling as leaders to actually lead change. So, how can we lead change? Or what is the first thing that you have to do when you feel that, I'm called to make a change in my society or in my nation? I'm called to change the world. Let's put it that way. What's the first thing you gotta do? Right? The first thing I believe you gotta do is you gotta change your thinking. Why is that important? Because how we think really determines a lot of things. How we think determines how we see things, our perspective in life, our capability, our potential, our limitations, it just impacts so much. And how we think predominantly, especially where we make assumptions, can create huge barriers for limitation. One of my favorite books, The Four Agreement, talks about don't make assumptions. So we all know the definition of assumptions. So, the assumptions we make often restrict our thinking and therefore will restrict our possibilities. So how we think really restricts what is possible for you. And there's this quote by Leo. If we don't change the direction we're going, we're likely going to end up where we're headed. So, therefore, it's important to know as a leader, where am I headed to? Am I headed to the right place? Am I headed in the right direction? Or do I need to change? And if I need to change, the first thing we've talked about is you have to change your thinking. Once you change your thinking, you need to then be a person of hope. I do really believe that as leaders, we are hope dealers, right? We provide hope for the people that we work with, those that we call to serve. In everything we do as leaders, we must be a source of hope. And I believe that you can truly serve well from a place of fullness. It's really crazy to think you're going to serve and serve at your best from empty. It's not possible to serve at your best from empty. So you have to serve from a place of fullness, right? So have hope for yourself. Believe in who you're called to be. Believe in the purposes that God has for you. Believe that you carry value. Believe that what you contribute in this world is important. You've got to believe in all of those things. And so I want us to look at um some of the reasons why people change, or what can make people change. Because I can hear you say, well, hey, I want to help these people, but they don't want to change. And so I want us to look at a few reasons, or situations or circumstances that would make people change. Number one is when somebody's had enough. Okay. When somebody's had enough, they've gone through challenging situation. Now it's like they're full. They are full because you can't really help somebody, or you can't change somebody that hasn't come to that crossroad of, what, I've had enough of this. You know what? I no longer want my life to be this way. You know what? I can do so much better. I see the possibilities. I see what is possible. So sometimes, don't be shocked when somebody suddenly does a U-turn. It may be that sort of, reason why. I also believe that sometimes, like, we see so much suffering and we see so much that it's actually, what, my heart is breaking for this. So now I'm ignited, I'm activated. Something is activated in my body, in my spirit being, in my inner being, that is like, what, I want to do something about this. I want to make a change, right? So when you've seen enough of, a situation or a challenge or whatever it is, it can actually inspire you to, spark or be activated for change. The other thing is, when, learning, right? It's like, hey, maybe like you take a gap year. I don't know if you ever did that or not, but sometimes the things we learn in life, our life's lessons, means that, what, actually, I think I've learned something here in this challenge that I went through, in this situation that I went through in my life, and therefore that is going to spur me on enough to actually want to change something, right? And also, I think that sometimes people change when it's like, what, I have the right resources, I have the right people in my life, I have the right environment that will push me to, what you call it, now get on the path of change. Now, to change or to be a change agent, you have to have hope for other people. I talked at the very beginning that you can't serve from empty. You can only really serve from a place of fullness. And so you have to have hope. You have to, I talked about changing your thinking. You have to be able to see what is possible. You have to be able to give people that hope, right? Hope of, hey, you know what? This is possible, right? This is possible. This is possible. Why do I keep repeating this is possible? Because oftentimes it's easy to look at situations or circumstances and not really believe that it is possible, right? So I'm going to give us one, two, three, five keys that will help you to be that leader that really instills and inspires hope into people. Leader that, I think when you instill and inspire hope in people, you spark change. A bushfire, raging fire only needs to be started by a small, tiny spark. So, number one, to really be a change agent for change, a leader that, really brings about change. You have to be the horizon for people. Horizon is, it's, helping people to know or to see how far they can go. Right, I've got to put my glasses on so I can see my notes very well. Is you have to be the leader that sees what is beyond the horizon, that you can see beyond your current horizon. You can see beyond the limitations that are in front of you. You can see beyond the challenge that you're looking at, the wall that you're looking at. You have to be a leader that carries a vision that can see the whole big picture. You can really expand your ability to see beyond the horizon. That's number one. Number two is hope. We all need hope. So you have to bring change, to lead change. You have to be the leader that is able to help people to see that the future can be bright. You help people to gain that optimism, to know that, what, it is possible, that change is possible, that this can change, this can happen, that can happen. You enable people to see beyond their current pain and is able to catch a glimpse of the future, that it is possible. Think of the sun. When you see the sun rising, what do you think? You know that it is the start of a new day. Well, when you see the sunrise, you don't think, oh, that's the end of the day. We all know that the sunrise signifies the dawn of a new day, the beginning of a new day, right? So be a leader that helps people to see, to catch a glimpse of the new day. The third thing is, being able to rise above challenges, right? Think of mountains. Every leader faces mountains. Every leader has, challenges that they have to overcome, right? And so if you think of the challenges as mountains, if you think of challenges as mountains, you have to be the leader that helps other people to know that, what, hey, we're not pretending that challenges don't exist. We're not pretending that, hey, this is not difficult. The reality of what we're looking is we're not pretending any of those things, but you want to enable people to be able to see through, to push through, to persevere, and to be able to conquer, that mountain, that challenge. Empower them with resources, empower them with what they need to be able to empower them to be able to scale that mountain. We all face mountains, we all face challenges. And as a leader, you will be able to drive change when you don't pretend about the challenges, the realities that people face, but you're able to help them to face it squarely, whether it's resources, whether it's tools, whether it's skills, whether it's community, tribe, or just sheer motivation, determination, great, whatever it is. You help the people that you call to serve. You drive that change by facing that mountain squarely and persevering and pushing through. To drive change, you gotta, like, how often do we admire the eagle, right? The eagle is such an extraordinary bird that it's like it flies right through the store, right? That you have to study a little bit more about eagles. But if you think about a leader to drive change, You've got to be able to activate the hearts of your people. That when, whether it's you speaking, whether it's you sharing a vision or sharing an idea, whatever it is, it should be able to make the heart of those that are receiving it to soar. The heart soars with you. The heart rises up with you. The heart is invigorated, is activated. Something is activated within the spirit rises up, right? And know that, you know what, we can soar, we can do this, we can ride, we can ride the storm, we can overcome, we can do this, right? So you have to be a leader that is able to activate the inner spirit, the very heart of the people that you serve, you're called to lead. And finally, think of the garden, right? The garden, you go to the garden, what do you see? You smell beautiful smells, whether it's roses or peonies or the jasmine tree or whatever it is. The garden brings such beauty. It's a place that you can go and find tranquility, right? Peace and stillness. Sorry, and stillness, and your energy is completely changed and charged when you're in the garden, right? Why is that? Because the flowers or the plants, it's just a whole different energy vibe, if you will. So you want to be a leader that your energy just fills other people. Your energy just brings that peace, that tranquil, like a well that people can come and be refreshed, a well that people can come and be what do you call it, rehydrated. You want to be a well that really just is a source of refreshment for everybody that comes from. I'm not saying go and burn out, but you want to be a source of hope, right? That is how you drive change. If you're going to be a leader that drives change, you want to be that leader that inspires change. So again, look at, who are you spending time with? Who are those that are around you? Because all of that impacts your own energy, how full you would be, because we talked about not serving from a place of empty, right? You have to serve from a place of fullness. So I hope that this has been valuable to you and that you are now equipped to go and drive change in your community, in your homes, in your nations. Because you know what? We've got to be the change that we want to see in our world. So until I come your way again, write to us. Let us know, how is this impacting you? What areas are you really needing to grow in? What areas are you already really, really good at? Are you already working on? And what else would you add, right? Let us know. If there's any specific questions you'd like us to answer, then let us know. Otherwise, we look forward to reconnecting with you. And remember that you have to be the change you want to see in this world. Take care. And that's all for this week. You've been listening to Dr. Tina Allton with the Now Talks, the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. All that remains is for me to say have a fantastic week, stay safe, and reach out if you need any help now at nationsofwomen.com. Until next time, enjoy the pursuit of your potential, and remember, now is your time.